The Sacred Scone Caper. A Christmas Tavish Stewart adventure by K.R.M. Morgan. As I stared out of the ornate window of Stewart's Antiquarians, the setting sun's light bathed New Bond Street in a warm golden hue. Christmas Eve had always been a time of anticipation for me, a day when families gathered, laughter echoed down streets, and the air was saturated with the scent of cinnamon and pine. But this year, as I polished a rare Georgian silver teapot, my thoughts were elsewhere, lingering over a request I'd just received. The phone call from Buckingham Palace had jolted me out of my festive reverie. The sacred scone from the stone of Scone had been stolen from Edinburgh Castle, threatening the very fabric of British monarchy and tradition. Without the authority of the sacred scone, the king was no longer king and could not give his Christmas message of hope to the world. Not only that, the tourist industry of Devon and the cream and strawberry jam trades would collapse. As a decorated military hero turned antiquarian, my days were usually filled with intriguing histories and the occasional adventure. But this was something far more sinister. "Cynthia," I called over my shoulder, needing the insight of my brilliant girlfriend. She emerged from the back room, her brow furrowed in concern. "The professor must be behind it," she said, her voice a mixture of dread and determination. "Professor probably. His fixation on thwarting anything cheerful is well documented. Then we must act swiftly." I knew my plans for a cozy Christmas dinner were now on hold. There was no time to waste. With Cynthia's quick MI6 intel, I hopped into my Bentley, the engine roaring to life like a restless beast. Edinburgh awaited, and I treated the journey like a military operation, weaving through traffic and shivering streets, the mind racing with what lay ahead. The images of Professor Probably's tweed-jacketed self, pipe smoke curling around him like an ominous fog, haunted me as much as the tales of his disdain for joy. Upon arriving, the brooding silhouette of Arthur's seat loomed in the twilight sky, dark and menacing. It was here he had his secret lair, buried deep within the earth, a fitting abode for a man who thrived on chaos. After an exhaustive search, I located a grimy trapdoor half hidden beneath a tangle of brambles. My heart raced as I pried it open, descending into the shadows below. The underground lair was a sprawling network of cold stone corridors, dimly lit, a stark contrast to the elegance of my shop. The walls were lined with failed inventions and cursed artifacts, a testament to a life wasted on furious ambition. Suddenly, I was surrounded by figures clad in ominous attire, and before I knew it, I found myself captured. Dragged before Professor Probably, each sinister word dripped venom. "Ah, Sir Tavish Stewart, the gallant hero, here to save Christmas? How quaint!" His mocking tone echoed in the subterranean chamber. And then it was revealed. A pit, terrible and dark, housing a large feral Highland haggis. Having been starved and teased by Professor Probably, it was long acquainted with madness. "You will become my Christmas entertainment," Probably cackled, the laughter resonating like a cruel carol. Taken aback by such a fate, I felt my instincts awaken. I had spent my childhood wrestling with creatures far wilder than this. The moment they tossed me into the pit, something primal kicked in. As the haggis approached, its fierce gaze took me by surprise. I recognized the spark within those eyes. I led a pack of wild haggis on my estate, and this creature radiated survival more than it did malice. In a split second, a plan fizzled into existence. "Easy now, we are kin, sharing the essence of the Highlands," I hissed, crouching low. Surprisingly, the feral haggis hesitated, its sharp impulses seeming to recognize kinship. "Together, we can take them down." The haggis grunted and I sensed agreement. With a deft maneuver, I grasped the beast and lifted it up and out of the pit. The crazed creature charged, sending Professor Probably's henchmen sprawling. Within moments, I followed, leaping from the pit, the haggis having securing its newfound purpose in this confrontation. With shouts of panic, the henchmen faltered, and the fanged creature, fueled with instinctive rage, helped turn the tide. The remaining group fell into chaos, and I seized the chance to confront Professor Probably. A few well-placed martial arts strikes disabled his attempts at escape, and soon he lay defeated at our feet and paws. In triumphant glory, I retrieved the sacred scone from the hidden alcove the professor had used as his trophy cabinet and rushed back to Edinburgh Castle, where the scone belonged next to the ancient stone of Scone. As night settled, the weight of Christmas tradition filled the air once more. The king would give his message of hope, and the economies of Devon and Cornwall were safe. After ensuring the scone was safely refurbished in its rightful place, I turned my attention back to the feral haggis. I couldn't abandon such a fierce spirit to the shadows. I whisked my new companion away in the Bentley to my Highland estate, where I marched up the hills, finally reaching the summit. There, I set the haggis free, watching it bound away into freedom, to feed on unwary lone tourists who were reckless enough to hike alone in the craggy Highland peaks. As Christmas Day dawned, the first rays of sunlight spread like soft whispers over the mountains. I settled down on a rock with a glass of single malt Glenfiddich, my heart full, having salvaged not just the traditions of Christmas but life as wild and untamed as the Highlands. Merry Christmas, I toasted to the sunrise, feeling triumph coursing through my veins. The warmth of the season wrapped around me, a soothing reminder of what I had indeed saved. Sir Tavish Stewart and Dame Cynthia Sinclair are featured in the Tavish Stewart Adventures, now available on Amazon and from all fine bookshops.